Here's more wrestling news for May 20th, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include: Renee Paquette responds to Max Caster's oral sessions mention. AEW Dynamite moving to TBS in 2022, Tony Khan comments. Randy Savage's brother clears up more accusations. Did MVP take a dig at The Undertaker? Kenny Omega and Don Callis leave Impact Wrestling television tapings early. WWE wrestler legitimately tried to sell Hornswoggle. Former WWE wrestler is having difficult time coping with New Jack's death. How Vince McMahon reacted when he first saw Brock Lesnar, and more. We're kicking off today with AEW, as this week's Dynamite saw quite the rap from Max Caster ahead of his and Anthony Bowen's match against Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. In his rap, Caster claimed Kingston looks like a box of Newport cigarettes and that he'd knock Moxley out with a mic just like Kenny Omega did, and added, "Call your girls, she all in my mentions, trying to hit me up for some oral sessions." A reference to Renee Paquette's Oral Sessions podcast, the former WWE announcer took to Twitter saying, "Let's get you a blue check and some W's and we'll look at booking you in the fall. Thanks for the plug at Platinum Max." Hear brand new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Moxley, who was noticeably unhappy with Caster's comment about his wife's show, alongside Kingston, would have the last laugh though, as the team would get the win, earning themselves a World Tag Team title match at Double or Nothing against the Young Bucks. And time will tell whether the pair can become champions next Sunday. We've got some huge news from AEW next, as Dynamite will be moving to TBS next year. This news was broken by Deadline, who reported that Dynamite will be moving away from TNT in January 2022, presumably as part of the NHL deal with Warner Media. The irony of this is that when NXT moved from Wednesdays to Tuesdays, that was because WWE assumed that NBC Universal, who run the USA Network, would keep the NHL rights, though AEW said they scared the competition away. It'll be interesting to see what kind of changes happen to Dynamite on its new home on TBS, and after 3 seasons of AEW's flagship show on TNT, fans will have to tune into a different channel to catch Dynamite. One person who will oversee this entire move is Tony Khan, AEW's CEO, GM, and head of creative, who is very excited about this new deal. In a press release sent out after the announcement, Khan said the financial upside of this new deal will allow AEW to invest in themselves, which will help them grow as a company. He explained, "As a lifelong wrestling aficionado who is privileged to present AEW to longtime and new fans alike, it means a lot to me, personally and professionally, to share the news that All Elite Wrestling will call TBS home beginning in 2020. The history of wrestling in the United States cannot be told without acknowledging the contributions of TBS, which as WTBS years ago delivered wrestling to the Southeast and eventually to a massive national audience. TBS has the same passion for wrestling today, but will offer AEW and our fans more primetime programming." Promising 4 annual specials on TNT, it could be that Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, Beach Break, and New Year's Smack become annual events for the company, but only time will tell as this story continues to develop. Randy Savage news next, and yesterday we covered how Lanny Poffo refuted the claim that his brother once locked Miss Elizabeth in a closet, and that's not the only claim made in the recent A&E documentary that the former WWF genius is wanting to disprove. In an article for Pro Wrestling Stories, Poffo denied the claims that his brother took steroids, as they were illegal, and went on to explain that the Macho Man was actually taking human growth hormones. He explained, "In the episode, Stephanie said that she and Randy took ecstasy. I don't believe my brother ever did any of the stuff she mentioned. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but it was totally inappropriate for her to say those things. She also mentioned that my brother took steroids. No, it wasn't steroids because that was illegal at the time. It was human growth hormones. That's how Randy got massively large for the movie Spider-Man. I noticed she keeps going to wrestling reunions and tries to sell merchandise of her and the Macho Man in photographs together. The people that buy them, I don't think they're buying them to see her. She's still trying to squeeze the last penny out of that relationship." Stephanie, better known as Gorgeous George, was Savage's long-term manager in WCW, and Lanny Poffo wanted to make sure that fans know the real side of the story about the Macho Man's extraordinary life. Back to WWE, and the company's recent Zombie Lumberjack match hasn't gone down well with fans, who saw it as too hokey even for wrestling, but the match does have some defenders. Perhaps defenders is a strong word, but Raw's MVP has clearly seen enough of the constant bashing of the match, as he tweeted about fans who think zombies in wrestling are stupid, but The Undertaker is the best. When a fan questioned how MVP could compare The Miz being eaten by zombies to one of the all-time greats, suggesting that MVP has to defend it because he's in WWE, the former US champion fired back. "I don't have to defend anything, just pointing out the ridiculous hypocrisy. Taker didn't eat people, but he was a dead man. He could teleport and shoot lightning. He was buried alive, but no, he didn't eat people. That's just too unbelievable." Though MVP is tired of fans ridiculing the match, Bray Wyatt recently poked fun at the zombies, asking fans if they miss him yet, as the Zombie Lumberjack match, much like the undead themselves, continues to be a problem long after it was supposed to be over. Now, earlier this week, Don Callis was removed from Impact Wrestling's executive list, leading to speculation that he may be done with the company full-time. Reports have suggested that Callis may be joining AEW full-time soon as Kenny Omega's manager, and it does seem that he's sticking with the cleaner, even off-air. According to Fightful, Callis and Omega were only at the last set of Impact TV tapings for the first day before taking off, leaving Impact without the world champion for the next 3 days of shooting. Impact reportedly filmed all the content they needed from the two before they left, and it appears that Callis wasn't needed in any other capacity backstage. The fact that both men left early is an interesting development in AEW and Impact's working relationship, and we'll continue monitoring this story as it develops. In wrestling, Fit Finlay is a true veteran, having worked as a wrestler and later producer in WWE, and fans will remember his on-screen pairing with Hornswoggle in the mid to late 2000s. Teaming together from May 2006, the pair had plenty of moments on screen, but perhaps the strangest happened off-camera when they were on tour in the Philippines. Speaking on Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw, Finlay spoke about how he nearly sold his on-screen son, saying, "I see the guy looking at Swoggle like he's looking at a meal, right, and I go, hey, you want to buy him? So I've got Swoggle by his collar, and I'm holding on while this guy and myself, we're talking money. We're going, how much? While Swoggle's looking up at me like, wait, no, what are you doing?" The more serious of this was like 15-minute conversation, and Swoggle is sweating his nuts off because he thinks I'm going to sell him. I would have done it if the money was right. Unsurprisingly, Hornswoggle wasn't on board with possibly being sold to a stranger, and it's lucky he wasn't, despite the high price Finlay could have made had he gone through with the deal. Now, last week, ECW star New Jack died at the age of 58 after suffering a heart attack, and several tributes have poured out from wrestlers, fans, and other names in the business, with Paul Heyman giving an impassioned eulogy on Talking Smack. One person who knew New Jack is D'Lo Brown, who spoke about his longtime friend and former partner on Busted Open Radio. D'Lo mentioned that he was hurt when Tommy Dreamer told him of New Jack's death, adding, "I had to walk away. I had to go sit down for a minute, and Jack was my friend. Jack was someone I talked to regularly. And Jack was someone, if he was your friend, he was your friend for life. If he was your enemy, he was your enemy for life. I'm still right now hurting because of it." New Jack was one of wrestling's most controversial figures, who is best known for his time in ECW and Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And we're sending our best to D'Lo, Tommy, and everyone who's been left reeling from his sad passing. More from WWE, as over the years, only a few superstars have had a better career than Brock Lesnar, who debuted in an impressive fashion the night after WrestleMania 18. Plowing his way through the competition, it wasn't long until the Beast was challenging megastars like The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, and The Rock. And this week, Jim Ross revealed Lesnar's first meeting with Vince McMahon. Speaking on his podcast, JR discussed how Gerald Briscoe scouted the future Universal Champion and that the rookie left a big impression on the chairman, saying, "When Vince laid eyes on him, he knew that we had the guy. If he had any aptitude whatsoever, we knew athletically he was going to be great. He'd already proven himself as an athlete. But if he could get the showbiz side of it and have the aptitude to be a pro wrestler, he was going to be our guy for a while. And that worked out." After his debut in March 2002, Lesnar would become undisputed champion that August. And from the moment they first met, McMahon knew the Beast was destined for great things. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.